Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om. In the last session we had seen this sadhaka who has done several austerities. But he has missed the main purpose of tapasya. For that sadhaka, Bhagavan says, in spite of doing everything, desires have not left this person. Tadapina munchati asha pashaha. What all things did he do? Agre vanni prushte bhanu. In summer season, he sat with fire in the front and sun, scorching sun behind him. And in winter, did extreme austerity. Just folded back his knees to his chin and was sitting there shivering. Took bhiksha only with his hands. Karatala bhikshaha tarutala vasaha. Stayed underneath a tree. Look at the irony. In spite of doing everything, Bhagavan says, desires have not left. Meaning to do or to remove these desires, there is something else which is needed in addition to these physical austerities. He is not only criticizing those austerities, because he wants to do that is such a great tapasya. What if somebody misses the point of why we are doing tapasya? That is when Bhagavan says we should think again. This is where we had seen 3 different types of tapasya from Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter. The first tapasya was at physical body level. Can anybody just tell the names quickly? Reverential attitude towards Dvija means revered people, knowledgeable people, going with the spirit of learning. Bhagavan says that is tapasya at physical body level. Then second was cleanliness, shaucham, and arjavam was straightforwardness in body language because it's tapasya at physical body level. Then came tapasya at speech level. Anudvegakaram means non-agitating speech, factual, dear to somebody, dear to the other person, and beneficial to other person. 4 facets. And I don't think we discussed this in the last session, but Bhagavan Shankaracharya in Bhashya says, at any given point of time, speech will be called as tapasya if you are able to hold on to at least 3 out of the 4. 4 facets were there, right? Anudvegakaram, non-agitating, factual, dear to other person, and beneficial to other person. At no point it should be, we are letting go of 2 out of 4. Meaning, sometimes you try to communicate a point to somebody, and you did your best to communicate a point, but still there was udvega. How do you say Brahma is nirguna? How do you say there is nirguna Brahma? Now sometimes any topic it could be, it can create udvega. This is from Uttarakhand. Our Kaka Bhushundi ji gets lot of udvega. Teacher was trying to tell in his best possible way. But he says, it is satyam. It is hitam, means it is beneficial. At the same time, it is priyam also. So if you are holding on to 3 out of 4, that is considered as tapasya. Now Panchatantra story we tell children. Fox said this, monkey said this. Now that is not satyam. Fox never spoke, monkey never said anything. But it is anudvegakaram. It is not agitating the child. It is dear to the child. At the same time, it is beneficial to the child. So if 3 out of 4 are held on to, Bhagavan says that will become tapasya in our speech. Just mindfulness in that. This is said in Bhashya, 3 out of 4. Then we saw tapasya at mind level also, which was just keeping a pleasant mind. Manaprasada. Saumyatvam there refers to a smiling thought, because tapasya is at mind level. Means he has his transactions in such a way that after the transaction is done, he can happily forget it. That is litmus test of a good non-binding transaction. And in fact, whatever values we study in Bhagavad Gita or in any other text, it will all boil down to this only. We say we should speak the truth. What is the benefit, immediate benefit of speaking the truth? We can forget that transaction after it is done. But if little bit of untruth comes, so much of planning this person has to do after that. Oh, I told I am not at home to this person. Now the second person is going to ask, what should I tell him? Values, all of it will end in a free mind. A light-hearted mind, that is the insignia of a sadhaka. Bhagavan says that tapasya if we do, our job is accomplished. We don't have to go into any extremities. Agre vanhi prushte bhanuhu. And the whole purpose of tapasya was to tame this impulsive mind. Mind which likes to do what it wants, that mind is given certain boundaries to work within. Giving of those boundaries, that is called as tapasya. Like in speech, we give 4 boundaries. At physical body level, there were some boundaries. Mind also there are boundaries. That is called as tapasya. Now comes another verse which is telling about 3 sadhanas which a person generally does for a beautiful mind. Bhagavan elaborates that, but he says that by itself cannot lead us to liberation. Let us see that verse, 17th verse. Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam Vrata Paripalanam Athava Danam Jnana Vihena Sarvamatena Bhajatina Muktim Janmashatena Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajamudhamate. First sadhana is Tirtha Yatra. Tirtha Yatra, going for a pilgrimage. Considered to be one of the most auspicious desire that can come to a seeker. We have desire to go to so many places and we have limited time. In that, if somebody can carve out time to go to a Tirtha Kshetra, that means Bhagwan's blessing is in plenty upon that sadhaka. Charana Rama Tirtha Chali Jai, Tinake Mana Basahu Raghurai. Out of all the 14 places that Valmiki ji points out for Bhagwan Rama to go and stay, there are 14 different hearts of a sadhaka. One heart is this heart. One who wants to go to a pilgrimage spot, Charana Rama Tirtha Chali Jai. His legs take him towards Tirtha Kshetra. Valmiki ji says, go and stay in their heart, Bhagwan. Means keep their mind very calm, make their life very blissful. Bhagwan is Ananda Swarupa. If he can come and reside in our heart, that person's life becomes full of Ananda. That is the prayer there, 14 different places. We are approaching that prasanga in Ramcharitmanas, comes in Ayodhya Kanda. And imagine, last time also I was mentioning this, great saints who are so desireless. Somebody like Taponji Maharaj, it is said even if somebody lighted a fire in front, he would consider that as a luxury. Means you would say body identification increases if you sit in front of that fire with bhoga buddhi. Such a great soul, such a great saint, one of the few desires they had was to go on Tirtha Yatra. And he writes in his book that my mind wanted to have darshan of Kailasha, wanted to have darshan of Bhagwan Shiva, and that is how I would go. So that Tirtha Yatra is something which is very beautiful. And it is said whenever somebody goes on Tirtha Yatra, certain things should happen when they come back. What is it? First thing which should happen is assurance about Bhagwan being caretaker of our life. Bhagwan planning things for our life, that assurance should increase. So little bit of Tirtha Yatra should be unplanned. Of course, we cannot emulate what they would do. Taponji Maharaj writes, he would go without any money in his pocket. And he stays at one temple for almost 3 weeks. People say, Mahatma Ji has come, all our village, we will serve him. 3 weeks he stays in one place, but he feels, I'm burdening the villagers over there, I should move on now. Right at that point, one Sethji walks in, he says, 6 month Anna Santarpanam is on my name. Not only for Swamiji, but for everybody in that village. So he writes over there, how if we surrender to God, He can have better ways of planning our life than we are familiar with. But if you don't get that extreme glimpse, at least little bit a person should get, that if Bhagwan plans things for us, He does it in a much better way. That is the first assurance. Second is, it's a conviction to a seeker that we can be happy with minimal things. What we are otherwise not familiar at home, that glimpse of minimalist lifestyle a person gets in Tirtha Yatra. Have you all been to any temple in India? Stayed in a room there? You see what is the furnishing there? There will be one bed, one table, chair, and a jug. Jug is to get the water, and that's it. But the whole day's routine is so divine. Morning you have Arati. During the day, some or the other sattvic thing will be going on. Evening again, second Arati will be there. So it's a glimpse of this fact that Ananda is really not outside, it is our nature. And it is said, this glimpse is so powerful, even after this person comes back to his busy routine, he can still meditate as though he is in that place. If he has done this part well. If he went there and went to some other place, I don't want to give examples there, got fascinated by something, he said, this is the speciality of this place, and went on to buy something there. Gurudev would say this, Many people would write to him when he was down in the plane traveling, Gurudev, when are you going to Siddhabari? When are you going to Siddhabari? When are you having a camp? We will come there. Then he will say, okay, Vivek Chudamani camp I'm having 2 months. Come and stay. First week, everybody is enthusiastic. Third week, they will ask him, Gurudev, can I go to Dharmashala and come? It's close by, 1 hour drive. He say, why? You have come here for the camp. Why does mind want to go anywhere else? So Tirtha Kshetra, if somebody has really gone and absorbed the mind in the Lord, that person gets a glimpse of Ananda Swarupa. So much so that one Tirtha is called as Thavara Tirtha. Thavara Tirtha means a place. Kedarnath, Badrinath, Char Dham, what we go, that is Thavara. You have to go there. Second Tirtha is called as Jangama Tirtha. Jangama means if we go and meet a saint, they are considered as moving places of pilgrimage. Means our mind has the same purity that it would get going to a particular pilgrimage spot. Chaturmasa and all, they would go from one place to another and stay there. Right? So that is called as Jangama Tirtha. Third Tirtha is Manasa Tirtha. Manasa Tirtha means this person's mind becomes so beautiful, he always has beautiful thoughts to go and take a dip in. Like how we take dip in Gangaji and feel very purified. His mind is rich with those thoughts. He can take a pilgrimage in his own mind. Can you guess what is the last Tirtha? Swatma Tirtha. Swatma Tirtha means that Shuddha Chaitanya, which is ever available to us, that is the true Tirtha. Last verse of Atma Bodha is this Tirtha. Yas Swatma Tirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha. The one who worships this Tirtha in oneself, one who can shift attention to that Chaitanya, he says that person is accomplishing the purpose of pilgrimage. All of them are important to appreciate. We should not say, I will only do Swatma Tirtha, but Sthavara Tirtha doesn't pull my mind as much. So both will be there. Both we should appreciate what is the importance of Sthavara Tirtha. Only a person who has gone there can really appreciate the benefit of it. What is it like to take a dip in Gangaji? It is to take a dip and then see what it is like. That is how this Tirtha Kshetra works. Now that this person is doing, first sadhana is Tirtha. Kurute Ganga Sagara Gamanam. You know Ganga Sagara Gamanam, how it is done, right? One is to take a dip in Gangaji, that is Ganga Sagara Gamanam. Or they have a pilgrimage where you have to take water from Gangaji, bring it down to Rameshwaram. Ideally walk, but some take a flight. Of course, you have to go with time. But they do take from Varanasi. They will take Ganga water, come down to Rameshwaram, offer Gangaji's Jalam on Lord Shiva there, then take the sand from Rameshwaram and go back to Varanasi. That is considered as Ganga Sagara Gamanam. And in and through that, they'll have beautiful experiences. All whatever we saw, their Shraddha in Bhagwan will increase. The day they don't have food, how food comes. He says that is how Shraddha increases. Somebody who heard this asked Guruji, if I go for pilgrimage, will Bhagwan take care of my food? Swamiji said no. Because you are going after food, not after Bhagwan. Go after Bhagwan, he says Lakshmi Devi is always there. Go after Siddhi, there is no guarantee, Narayana will follow. That is a safer path. Hold on to Bhagwan, all experiences are in the right place. So this he does, Ganga Sagara Gamanam. Second is Vratam. What is Vratam? Vratam means something we knowingly take upon ourselves for a short duration of time. Some discipline which is taken out of joy, not as a chore. For example, Upavasa is one Vratam, where a person says, on a particular day, either I will not eat anything or I will eat only fruits, whatever that Vratam is, for a particular duration of time. Sometimes it is ongoing, but generally Vratam is for one duration. Navaratri time, 9 days they will say, we are not going to eat. And that Vratam, if it is done sincerely, it has the power to melt the heart of the Lord. And Bhagwan says, the one who does this sincerely, I am as though controlled by that person. This much power he has. And this is elaborated in the story of Ambarisha Raja. You must be familiar with this Ekadashi Vratam that he did. He fasted, it's called as Nirjala Ekadashi. True meaning is Nirjada Ekadashi. Jada means whatever is inert, that we try to keep away. Means whatever sense objects are there, including food. Food is only Upalakshana. Upalakshana means it's an indicator. It includes everything else. One cannot say, I am staying away from food, but other things, mind is going towards them. He puts forth efforts to stay away from those things also. So like this he did Ekadashi Vratam, and the moment he was about to break the fast, Durvasa Rishi comes. Durvasa Rishi comes and he says, wait a minute, let me take dip in that river and I will come back. It is said Brahmanas, they are very fond of water. Wherever they see water or river, they want to take a dip. I will not say what other thing is also familiar, fond of water. Only one example you take. Brahmanas are fond of water. He takes a dip in that river. And he takes a dip in such a way, hours pass by, he is not to be seen. And these other gurus who are there of Ambarisha Raja, they say now is the time you should break the fast if you want the Vratam to be completed in the right way. But he says, I have given a word to Durvasa Rishi that I will wait for him until he comes. Those rishis, they are also very intelligent. They say, put a tulsi leaf on your tongue. Means you have broken your fast, at the same time you have not eaten food. You have not eaten like a full meal. Right when he keeps tulsi leaf, Durvasa Rishi enters. Durvasa Rishi enters. He says, how dare you break your words? You told me you will wait, and you broke your fast without waiting for me. And he gives him some shrapa. But before he can say anything, Bhagwan Vishnu, without him sending Sudarshan Chakra, that Sudarshan Chakra goes after Durvasa Rishi. And he goes first to Brahmaji. He says, Brahmaji, this is happening now. He doesn't say like this. You can dramatize it in your drama and all. He's so agitated. He says, what should I do? This Sudarshan Chakra is after me. Brahmaji says, this is not under my control. My job is only to give karma phala under the grace of Bhagwan Vishnu. So you go to him, it is his Sudarshan Chakra, ask him what to do. So he goes to Bhagwan Vishnu and he says, Bhagwan, what should I do? This Sudarshan Chakra is after me. Bhagwan says, although this is my Sudarshan Chakra, it is not in my control. The one whom you have insulted, you have to seek forgiveness from the same person. Means go to the Sharanagati of Ambarisha Raja. I also don't have control over this Sudarshana. That is considered as one of the expressions of power of Vratam. If he has done that Ekadashi Vratam, he says Bhagwan becomes Adhina of that devotee. Then Durvasa Rishi goes to Ambarisha Raja. He says, forgive me, I didn't know what was the greatness of this Vratam, and whatever I said, please forgive me. Ambarisha Raja says, Bhagwan, if my love for Durvasa Rishi, my respect for Durvasa Rishi is the same as before he said these words, then please take that Sudarshan Chakra back. And she again puts the onus onto Bhagwan. And then with that, Durvasa Rishi is saved. That whole thing is to indicate whatever little Vratam we can do. Self-imposed, we don't have to emulate somebody else, imitate somebody else. Whatever can work for us, that Vratam, he says this person does in his life. Does pilgrimage, does Vratam. What is the third one? Vrata Paripalam Athava Danam. Danam also he gives. There is one Subhashita which says, out of 100 people, only one person is Shura. Out of 100 people, only one person is really brave, who can say, I'm willing to sacrifice my life for this cause. Only one person is so brave. Out of thousands of people, one person is learned. One person is really learned. Panditah sahasreshu panditah. Out of several thousands of people, He says one person can be dani, or even that is doubtful. Dani bhavati nava. Meaning what? To give danam is considered to be one of the greatest tapasya, greatest sadhana. Out of several people, you will find many who are brave, many learned people. Many vaktas also is said. Third quarter of that Subhashita is, there can be many people who can speak, but very few people who can actually do danam. That this sadhaka has accomplished. You know why danam becomes a great tapasya? Because that resource has been earned through karma. Whatever is earned through karma, in that we have aham buddhi. Or we have mama buddhi there. Right? Whatever we have earned through righteous means, in that we have mamatva. Even in that, to let go of something, that part is called as danam, which becomes the most difficult part. That is what makes it a great tapasya. What has been earned through karma, in that there is mamatva buddhi. In that if somebody can let go of things, that part makes it tapasya. But next quarter is, in spite of doing everything, jnana vihina sarvamatena. Without knowledge, according to all schools of thoughts. Sarvamatena means all schools of thoughts, all darshanikas. Bhajatini muktim janmashatena. There is no moksha, there is no liberation, even if we keep doing this for several janmas. Several janmas a person takes and does pilgrimage, does Vratam, and does Danam. In spite of doing all of that, he says there is no guarantee that this person gets moksha without knowledge. Now, how should we understand this verse? We say the whole purpose of doing these sadhanas was to mellow down this ahankara. Is to mellow down this ahankara, to bring down this doership, bring down this enjoyership. But if we are not careful, the same things can increase our ahankara. In particular, Vratam. If somebody does a Vratam, if one is not careful, then this thought can come, I am the one who is doing this Vratam. That itself will become a fall in that sadhana. There was a Sufi saint, I think once in a year they have some tradition where they stay awake the whole night. They have to go to the mosque and they have to stay awake the whole night. Some ritual is there which they practice. So he went with his son to this mosque and they were staying awake, chanting some prayers. Initially everybody is enthusiastic, but by the time it was midnight, 1 o'clock, slowly people started taking a nap. The head of that mosque was there. He also dozed off. Only this father, the Sufi saint, and his son, they were awake. The son tells his father, Father, look, everybody is asleep. Only we both are awake. And that Sufi saint tells him, son, it is better that you also go to sleep. Then have this idea that we are better than others because we are awake and everybody else is asleep. Because whole part of sadhana was to remove this ahankara, and any vratam that can increase this ahankara has actually become an obstacle. That is one meaning why jnana vihina sarvamatena bhajatina muktim janmashatena. Second meaning, Puja Gurudev has very nicely given. He says, the snake which is seen on that rope, illusory snake which is seen on that rope, you cannot make it run away by chanting Garuda mantra. Illusory snake seen on the rope, you cannot make it go away by chanting some mantra. Meaning what? All these things, pilgrimage, vratam and danam, is done by this ahankara. The only thing that will remove this finitude in aham, only thing which will remove this finitude in I is knowledge. All other practices, they will beautify this ahankara. They will not remove it. Right? We should ask this question, who goes on a pilgrimage? Atma doesn't go on a pilgrimage. Right? This ahankara is the one who is going to go. Sadhaka is the one who is going to go. Vratam also, sadhaka only is going to do. This ahankara is only going to do that vratam. Jnanam is the one which will remove this ahankara and establish that sadhaka in his own true nature as Shuddha Chaitanya. That is why it is said, without jnanam, there is no mukti. Jnana vihina sarvamatena bhajatina muktim janma shatena. So both levels we have to appreciate. Whatever sadhanas we do, making sure that it is done silently. We don't have to declare. In fact, declaring reduces the punya coming from that sadhana. Any sadhana, in particular japa, how many malas you are doing, which mantra you are doing, all of that is meant for our chitta shuddhi. One need not declare it to anybody. There is a story which comes in Mahabharata of Raja Yayati. You must have heard that story. Yayati Raja did lot of punya karma, lot of yajna, yagadi, so many things he did. So much so that he went to Indraloka and he had to share his throne with Indra. Nobody likes sharing the seat. Both of them were sitting together. Indra did not like Yayati also sitting with him. So what he did was, he started praising Yayati. He said, "Oh Yayati Raja, I heard you did lot of punya karma. What did you do?" Then Yayati Raja also came into his, fell for his words, and he started telling about all the great work. He said, "I started with karma yoga. I started doing seva. Then in my kingdom, whoever would come, I would give them whatever they needed. Then whatever yajnas my teacher told me to do, everything I did. I did Ashwamedha yajna, I did Rajasuya yajna." And it is said every time he was talking about his satkarma, his punya was going down. And in Puranas they dramatize it, Indra was pushing him one notch away from the seat. And finally when he exhausts all his punya, he falls down from Swarga. That story is only to remind us that satkarma, if one is not alert, any seva if one is not alert, that ahankara which comes through that satkarma can become our bondage. The whole part is ahankara should get mellowed, ahankara should get negated through jnanam. Jnana vihina sarvamatena bhajatina muktim janma shatena. They were meant for a purpose, and if they have served the purpose, what was the purpose? Chitta shuddhi. Mind should become beautiful, not that the ego should become stronger. Whenever you go to a concert, tuning instrument is only the preparation part. That is not the concert. The Tirtha Yatra, Vratam and Danam, all three are the preparation part. Preparation for jnanam, he said that is what should be accomplished through these three things. Okay. Now comes a beautiful verse of a good example of a sadhu. Previous verses were how a sadhu should not be. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha. How a person should not be. This is somebody who has followed the path in the right way. This is said to be composed by Sureshwaracharya ji. Suramandira tarumula nivasaha Shayya bhutalamajinam vasaha Sarva parigraha bhoga tyagaha कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते. This is somebody who rejoices in the carefreeness, not carelessness, carefreeness of a monastic life. Avadhuta vritti it is called. One who has completely surrendered himself to the Lord, least concerned about how his needs will be taken care of. Sura mandirataru moola nivasaha. Where does he live? He lives near a temple. Doesn't have a room in the temple. There is a tree near the temple. Sura mandirataru. There is a tree near the temple. He lives below that tree. Sura mandirataru moola nivasaha. Shayya bhutala. For sleeping, he has the ground. Ajinam vasaha. For covering his body, he has deer skin. Deer skin which has been gotten in the right way. Only that deer which has cast out its skin, that skin he uses. Ajinam vasa. There is a process also, how to make it as a wearable thing. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyagaha. This is the main essence of this verse. If one can let go of parigraha. Parigraha means holding on to something more than what we need. More than what is our necessity. Anything else that we hold on to, that is parigraha. And whatever things are there with us, taking delight in those things. Making that as source of happiness. That is called as bhoga. Parigraha means holding on to things more than what we need. Bhoga means putting the keys of our happiness into some object. The one who can let go of these two, bhoga tyagaha, Sureshwaracharya declares to the world. Who is there in this world to whom this kind of dispassion has not given joy? Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. Who is there in this world to whom such kind of a mindset has not given joy? Now, even though we might not be able to appreciate the first line, staying under a tree, wearing deer skin, but the second line we can appreciate. We can let go of parigraha, we can let go of bhoga. Bhoga, if you want to add, bhoga vilasa. In Lakshman Gita, Bhagavan adds that word. This is whatever things are there, we can make upayoga of that thing, or if we are not alert, we will end up making bhoga of that thing. Upayoga means use it for the right cause. Bhoga means taking delight in that thing as a source of joy. Now that doesn't depend on the object. Whether we do upayoga or we do bhoga, it is a mindset of a sadhaka. Right? Same food might be kept in front. A person can eat with this mindset, jnana vairagya siddhyartham bhiksham dehi cha parvati. Means for the sake of knowledge and dispassion, may I eat this food. But if a sadhaka is not alert, he can make that food as bhoga. Food has not changed. That if a person can let go of bhoga and parigraha, he said that person will be happiest person in this world. Somebody was sharing with me one of the litmus test of what to let go of. He said if you don't use a thing for 1 year, probably we don't need that thing. They said that is what they follow. If not 1 year, at least 2 years you put. Because sometimes season has changed, right? 1 year, winter, summer has gone by. Second time, get the same vyapti. Vyapti means data. You know what this verse is hinting? If we have some higher goal in life, A person who has too much parigraha, his mind is not available to focus on that goal. Because every parigraha is demanding attention. Mind is always thinking about those things. He says we'll have to withdraw from at least those entities which are really not needed for us. Sarva parigraha bhogatyaga. And this we should see in our own life. How holding on to things, we thought it is because of sukham, that thing is giving us joy, but really speaking it has made us bound. I had shared this before also, I think in Ramayana class or somewhere. When we were studying Sandeepany, have you seen Bombay monsoon? 7 days, it will rain non-stop. You have to be really prepared and see if you can survive in that, things. Because top it is raining and down it is slippery. And you have to be so alert, going everywhere. And the best footwear there is your slippers. You should not wear some kind of fancy shoes or other things. And especially in an ashram, every 5 minutes you have to take out your shoes. To go in temple, to go in your room, to go into the lecture hall. So best footwear is that slippers which are there. 1 year we wore it, monsoon came, went, everything was nice. Second monsoon, somebody who was visiting brought a pair of sandals. The ones that you pull from behind. And they said it has a good grip. You will not slip anywhere, take these sandals, very good grip. And from the day they gave me this sandal, evening Jagdishwar Aarti, whenever you stand there, although you are chanting, Tera tujhko arpan, kya lag hai mera, half of your mind is outside. I hope I have kept it in the right place. And other people are also there to tell you. You don't know how to keep shoes in a temple. You should leave one slipper here, one somewhere else. But Bhagwan's way of teaching you a lesson is so powerful. Within a week, that sandal was gone. Within a week. And all Vedanta that you have studied, other people come and tell you that. They say, anyway, you are not attached to it. You should not be attached to it. Somebody else needed it more than you. But when it went away, and you are back to your previous slipper, that is when you realize the second line. Sarva parigraha bhogatyagaha kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. That you are so happy before, unnecessarily we added more layers. On top of that, so many more expectations. Then came the baggage along with it. Although, certain things you might have to do out of necessity. But at the same time, if we can let go of this parigraha vritti, if it is there, very good. If it is not there also, happiness doesn't depend upon that object. In whichever way we learn that lesson, Bhagwan says that will be the key for our happiness. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. This is the mindset of a saint. Somebody like Sureshwaracharya ji, their mindset is like this. Nothing of the world becomes a nimitta, becomes a cause for their joy. And if you see the life of saints, whatever they have written in their composition, that reflects this vritti. There was a saint whose name is Kumbhandas ji, contemporary with Goswami Tulsidas ji. And Goswami Tulsidas ji was also a contemporary of Akbar. Or put it other way, Akbar was contemporary of Goswami Tulsidas ji. And Akbar was fond of art. He would invite musicians, he would invite literary people. So one day he sends a note to Kumbhandas ji saying that you come to my court and recite your poetry there. Kumbhandas ji sends a note. संतन को सीकरी सो काम, संतन को कहाँ सीकरी सो काम, आवत जानत पनैया टूटे, आवत जात पनैया टूटे, बिसरी गयो हरिनाम. He says, I am a saint, I am a santa. What does a saint have to do with an emperor? Santana ko kaha sikari so kam. If I accept your invitation, the only thing I am going to get is my shoes will get worn out on the way back and forth. Avata jata panaiya tute. And because your invitation, you are calling me to that court and all those luxuries which are there is a chance I might forget taking Bhagwan's name. Bisari gayo harinam, santana ko kaha sikari so kam. Akbar must have felt what a state of reveling he is in, and I am sitting here with all the luxuries around me, not getting a glimpse of the joy that they are reveling in. This is that sadhaka who has figured out a way to be happy devoid of objects. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. Okay. All right. In Bhagavatam, in other places, you will see a lot of more examples. Rishabdevji Maharaj, Shukdevji Maharaj himself. He would stay in a place only as long it takes to milk a cow. Go dohana matra iva. Going from one place to another place, but his mind always reveling in that bliss. Okay. Next verse is talking about life of a Jivan Mukta. We all start our journey as a sadhaka. But where does this journey end? Does that question come to all of us? When you have started this, no doubt. But where is going to culminate? Every journey should end. We cannot get on a train not knowing where it is going to make us get down. It says sadhaka journey also, if it has started, where does the journey culminate? What is the lifestyle? What is the perspective of a Jivan Mukta? That is said in this 19th verse. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihinah yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandati nandatyeva Bhajagovindam Bhajagovindam Govindam Bhajamudhamate Govindam Bhajamudhamate. Nanda means to take delight. Nanda. If you take delight in the right thing in the right way, A upasarga gets added to it. A plus Nanda becomes Ananda. This is the sadhaka who has done Shravanam, done Mananam, done Nididhyasanam, internalized the teaching of Upanishads. And he is reveling in his own blissful self as that pure consciousness. Remember, he didn't come to this point overnight. Nor was it a miracle that only few people are born this way. All of them have walked the same journey. This verse is as though inviting all sadhakas to keep walking on the same path. Only thing is, their journey is such you cannot trace how they went. Mundakopanishad, flight of a bird is given as an example. You see a bird at point A, you see a bird at point B. But if you try to trace the path, how that bird went, that's very difficult. So this Jivan Mukta, how does he live in this world? He says his mind is ever reveling in that absolute truth. In sadhana stage, there were few things which were told to this sadhaka. Stay away from bhoga. Stay away from bhoga. Pay attention to yoga. Means do your sadhana, do your shravanam. Stay away from bhoga. don't get heavily involved with people. Any sadhaka for that matter. Huh? Whichever place Bhagwan has placed us, interact with everybody with Bhagavad Buddhi. Consider them as Bhagwan, interact in that way according to Dharma, that is it. Don't get too pulled in any transaction. If you can practice solitude, it is great. Whatever extent of the day, you can withdraw yourself back. He says you can do that. That is superior to getting heavily involved in the world. Now, this was the instruction given in sadhana phase. But if he has reached a point where he knows this actionless self, words we saw in this morning, karmani akarmayah pashyet, akarmani cha karmayah. He is seeing this actionless self in and through all actions, then it doesn't matter to him whether he is in yoga or he is in bhoga. Now, this first line is an expression of knowledge. It is not sadhana. Sadhana was stay away from bhoga, be in yoga. But because he has understood nature of Atma as asanga, which never becomes a doer, whether he is in yoga or he is in bhoga, both are same for him. Means he doesn't get more joy because of yoga, nor does he feel very frustrated because of bhoga. Right? He says bhoga is brought by prarabdha. While going through that bhoga, he does not pray that may this bhoga increase. This is said in Panchadashi, 7th chapter. Trupti Deepa. What is true contentment? How does a jnani look at bhoga vastu? He does not pray for that bhoga to be increased, nor does he try to keep it away. He goes through it with lot of klesha, it is said. Klesha means anyhow I have to go through this now. My real joy comes from Atma only, not from that object. So between yoga and bhoga, he sees no difference. Whether he is by himself or he is with people, he is comfortable in both. Sangarato va sanga vihinaha. Whether he is with objects, with people, or he is by himself, his knowledge doesn't get affected, his happiness doesn't get affected. Does any example come to your mind from Bhagavad Gita? Turtle. Kurmonganiva sarvashaham. Bhagwan has given example of a turtle for a Jivan Mukta. Turtle is comfortable living on land. It can go deep in the water also. That's how it lays its eggs, right? It lays it at the shore and then walks inside and thinks about that egg. That is how it hatches. It is considered as one of the greatest example of upasana, power of thought. Just by thought it can nurture the eggs that it has laid on the shore. But just as it's comfortable in both waters, jnani is also comfortable in both waters. With people also he is happy, by himself also he is happy. If somebody is not prepared, both can become a bondage. Means he says, I get too agitated when I am with people. Or if solitude is not prepared for, then solitude can eat him up. We talk about pravrutti and nivrutti, right? Nivrutti means what do we understand generally? Withdrawing back. In Shastra, nivrutti means doing a different type of action. In scriptures, nivrutti doesn't mean withdrawing and sitting quietly. Nobody can for that matter. Means he was doing one type of work before, which demanded him to go outside more. Now he is doing another type of work, which requires a quiet and a calm mind. A reflective mind, through that he is doing more of subtler work, that is considered as nivrutti. Nivrutti is not pulling ourselves back and not doing anything. Bhagwan says such a life is not possible. Third chapter, that is what Bhagwan says. Becoming akarma at upadhi level, at conditioning level, even to take care of body we'll have to do karma. Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhet akarmanaha. Without karma, even to take care of body is not possible. What about life? So that this person has accomplished in the right way. And this is where our scriptures want us to go. Not always feel stressed about karma. Have you all tried skiing any time? Or you have seen people do skiing? One stage is when we are learning to ski. You're so conscious. Right? You step on it. The most intimidating part is the little kids zooming past you. And you are trying to stand straight. Every 2 minutes you fall down. That is our stage in sadhana. Staying away from bhoga, only wanting yoga. Staying away from sangha, wanting asanga. A stage should come when we can be, what do they call? Diamond slope. Diamond slope skiing. Means you can enjoy the beauty of the landscape. You are not stressed about falling down. At the same time, he doesn't get into trouble. Means all the rules and everything has become part of his personality. He doesn't have to put separate effort. He says that is the stage of Jivan Mukti, where he is not stressed with people. He is not finding solitude difficult because he is abiding in his own nature as Shuddha Chaitanya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.